welcome back, everybody, for sticking around. So before you go into some of the stuff that you've seen. So, I mean, Doc, just let me ask you. So, do you believe the polling? Do you believe that she is actually ahead, or like Trump and a lot of his surrogates have been saying over the past week, do you believe that he's actually winning this thing and winning it by a lot?
Well, here's the thing. You and I both talked about this. Whenever we have talked about polls, they've been inaccurate. There's a couple that are fairly right on. The ones that are right on show that Hillary's ahead. And I would agree with that with the polls, that the polls that they have do reflect that Hillary's ahead. The problem is, this is an election unlike any other election. When we talked about it, this is the first time an oligarch has run for president in the United States. You know, one with true power and true money. Don't get me wrong, Mitt Romney, John McCain, all those type of guys always have a lot of money. John Kerry has a lot of money, right? He's married a couple of heiresses. But they don't have Trump kind of money. And when you're talking about that kind of stratosphere, when there's, 116 billionaires in the world or something nuts like that, yeah, he's one of 116 or whatever that number is in the world as far as billionaires having that much money. This is the first time this has ever happened, number one. Number two, you and I have been wrong about Trump just about every step of the way, right? And so, three, this is what I know that happens in my office. I have a lot of lifetime Democrats that are coming in and are saying, I don't like Hillary and I don't like Trump, and I really don't know who to vote for. I had several people in today who were willing to talk about politics, and we had two Johnson supporters in my office. I think I saw 33 people today. We had two Johnson supporters, and we had 18 Trump supporters, and then we had 4 Hillary supporters, and the others said, I don't even know what I'm going to do. So the part of the problem is I know a lot of people who don't want to admit they're going to vote for Trump because of all the bad stuff around them, who may actually wind up voting for Trump. Now, when you throw all those things in there, you don't know. I don't think that he's winning. I still am holding to our mutual position, which is that's going to be a tough row to hoe to get the Electoral College on board. But one of the things I read this weekend that I thought was eye-opening for me, they always do these studies and polls about how excited are you about the election? How involved are you going to be and all that other stuff? And of course, that number hovers between 70 and 80%, depending on who's around. And during Barack Obama's tenure in his 2 elections, generally people were at 78% overall. Here's the kicker on this one. Blacks, who is a major voting bloc for the Democratic Party, their interest overall in the election has fallen 18%. Young folks, which is another large voting bloc for the Democrats, their interest in this election has fallen 6%. And their planned participation rate, according to this study or this poll, the blacks' planned participation rate fell to 24%, and the young folks' rate fell to I think it was 16%. I can't recall off the top of my head. Significant losses. The other thing is they keep doing these studies about where Bernie's supporters have gone. By a 2-to-1 margin, they have gone to Johnson, some to Stein, and a few to Trump, which tells me, Johnson really creates a lot of young person supporters. So did Sanders. I think that's going to have an impact when you have, and this is a poll, right? So you don't ever know until the vote is cast. It's the same thing. You can't, that's why you play the game. But I think a 24% drop in planned participation rate among the blacks is really going to hamstring Hillary come vote time. Don't you think?
I think that if that bears out, it's troubling. But I think that more troubling is the fact that a couple of new polls in Texas show Trump up by 4. That's it.
Yeah,
And also, I was looking through some of the polling in the South and some of the historical data there. Mitt Romney won the South by on like an aggregate of about 17 when weighted for participation, like you said, about 17 percentage over Obama. Beat Obama in the South 17. Right now, Donald Trump is running at about half that. This would be the first time in the history of modern polling that a Republican nominee for president is likely to lose the college-educated vote to a Democrat. This is the first time in a long time where Utah is potentially up for grabs because of Evan McMullin, where Arizona, the 538 blog, has tentatively in a lean Democratic column, when you use their polls only forecast, is still lean red, but Arizona is potentially up for grabs for the Democrats. So she is outperforming Obama in the West when compared to 2012. She is outperforming Obama in the South as compared to 2012 by a lot. She is underperforming in the Midwest, especially here in Iowa. But a new poll from by 9 points. The blue fire, she has a chance to win Texas, 7%, according to the 538, than he does to win the election. That's a huge problem.
Well, and the problem is that's been true almost since he got the nomination. I mean, Sam Clovis is on here and said, yeah, that electoral map doesn't favor us. The part of the problem is
he loses one red state, it's over.
Yeah, and that's the truth. He's got a tough road to hoe, and he is not focusing on what he should be.
Yeah.
Now, Fox News has done what it can do to help Trump. Okay?
And their poll has...
And they do. But the trick is, and they start reading about, the other things, it's not having any effect on the poll numbers.
And we can talk. Are we coming up to a break? Because
we're not.
Because and you know why? I think just like every other Clinton controversy, especially with Hillary, bills were complicated. As he liked, which is a pretty uncomplicated thing, especially when you're talking about in the history of the presidency with FDR. Slept around, John F. Kennedy slept, that sort of thing.
Democrat.
Of or whatever is so complicated and so boring. I've read some of the revelations that have come out about this stuff in some of these emails that Podesta, there was the one where he was hoping that the guy that shot up the nightclub wasn't a Muslim. It just ringing all these 4-alarm fire bells on the Breitbart side of the news, except that...
Well, but hold on. I mean...
No. I got a point to make about this.
Well, then make it.
Because in a campaign, when you and I talked about it, when the media narrative at the time was one good Muslim terrorist attack in this country and Trump is going to win the election, of course the campaign chairman of the Hillary Clinton campaign is going to send an email going, I hope this guy is not a Muslim. Of course he is. That's just it's an off color, maybe it's an insensitive remark and crass, but that's how politics is practiced.
But you know as well as I do, if a Republican had said something even close to that, it'd been racism. We all hate Islam. We're Islamophobes. All that stuff.
If a Republican come out and said that dirty Muslim killed a bunch of Americans, let's go after Islam. Yeah, that's different and worse than what I just said.
Well, but the problem is a lot of times we don't say that stuff, but it's made to sound like that. The truth is, if you want to talk about vast left-wing conspiracy, it's in the media. Why wait 30 years to bring this up? Why bring this up right now, 2 weeks before the election?
You are insulting the entire American electorate with that argument.
You know what? I am speaking for the 70% that need to be paying attention to this, right? Because it happens every time. For crying out loud, they attack Mitt Romney's character, and here he is, has a nice nuclear family, doing what he's supposed to be doing, ran the IOC, never a controversy anywhere except for Romney Care, and they attacked his character. This is not anything new. This is standard operating procedure for Democrats.
We're going to go to a break. Obama.
Thanks for everybody for tuning in. We're going to be back after this break. We're going to talk about why Halo Capital. We want to thank Halo Capital.
We do want to thank. We don't want to disparage Halo Capital.
No, we don't.
Shame on
you. I did. I'm sorry. But we're going to be back after the break. We couldn't do what we do without you. We're going to be talking about WikiLeaks, why it hasn't had more of an impact, especially some of the videos that have been unearthed. We want to thank all of our sponsors. The Void Anesthesia at 515. 574-6442. Halo Capital at Des Moines, interest rates.com, Labinas Law Firm, and Petrosian Associates. We'll be back right after this break.